What's up, everybody? Bill the Kaiju King back in my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati. In this video, got the appropriate shirt on. Going to talk about the late 60s Showa era movies, 1966 through 69. I feel like these movies are underappreciated part of the Showa series. I think they're now also known as the Island series of Godzilla films. I am fond of these movies, two of them in particular. The other two are okay, but I love them overall. Classic stuff in these movies. Great stuff. And I'm going to talk about each movie briefly and then the collectibles I have for that film. Okay, let's move on to the 1966 Godzilla versus Sea Monster, or Ebirah Horror of the Deep. All right, everybody, 1966. I'm also going to bring this guy up because, fun fact, my understanding is that 1966 movie was originally supposed to be a Kong movie. King Kong was supposed to be the lead monster in the film, and it got changed at the last minute to Godzilla. That's the reason I brought my Kong over, because that's just an interesting, cool fact of the whole deal. But I love the movie for what it is, but you can also tell in the film that Kong was meant for the movie because they didn't change some of the stuff in it, like when Godzilla interacts with that girl. To me, that bleeds Kong, that whole deal there when he's interacting with the girl. But I love the movie. I like the storyline of the movie. The young guy at the beginning is trying to get a boat to find his brother who's been lost at sea, and he basically steals a boat from a guy who was going to, I think, steal the boat, the bank robber, and him and two guys he just meets at the competition for trying to win a boat, they all get on this boat, end up going to sleep, and then during the night, that guy that's looking for his brother launches the boat, and then they're on a months quest because they go through all the food, trying to locate his brother. They end up crashed on an island because of Ebirah here, the giant lobster. Crashes their boat, but they survive and end up on a island. And then there's a evil group there, the Red Bamboo, and they are trying to, I think, harvest nuclear weapons on the island. And they start trying to deal with them and combat them a little bit, and then they're trying to hide from them, and they find a cave up on a mountain. Then in that cave, they discover Godzilla is sleeping there. And with all the trouble they're having with the Red Bamboo, they decide to wake up Godzilla. They tie some wire to a sword and mount the sword at the top of the mountain because there's really bad storms hit this island, and the lightning hits that sword several times, and they ran the wire down to Godzilla, and it wakes him up. And during this time, of course, a bad storm's going on, and Ebirah is trying to attack some guys in the ocean, and Godzilla wakes up and busts out of the mountain, and that's their first encounter. It's a pretty good fight with the rock volleyball, I call it. It's pretty funny, pretty entertaining, pretty good stuff. I enjoyed it very much. But Godzilla and Ebirah fight twice in the film, and in the second fight, Godzilla really puts it on Ebirah. He doesn't kill him, but he tears off both his spear claw and his regular claw there, so he basically becomes defenseless at the end of the film in the final fight. And then the people of Mothra's island have been kidnapped to be slaves on the island for the Red Bamboo, and they finally get Mothra awakened, and they build a basket, and she comes and briefly fights Godzilla, of course, and then rescues the people on the island, and the island's going to self-destruct because they have a self-destruct bomb on the island, and Godzilla barely makes it off the island at the end to survive. But this movie was the shift of Godzilla from a perpetual bad guy into a superhero-friendly type Godzilla also, in my opinion. This is where it really started to shift that way. It's a pretty good movie. I enjoy the movie very much. All right, let's talk about the 1967 film, and let's do that now. I'm back. Forgot to mention my other collectibles real quick. This is the 30 centimeter Ibra from X Plus, 30 centimeter 66 from Mark Sang-Yang, of course. And I have one more 30 centimeter figure here I will bring over. And it is Godzilla sleeping in the scene where he is sleeping. He goes the other way. 30 centimeter custom with a base that Mark Sang-Yang made for me. Pretty cool figures. All right, everybody, now I'll move on to 1967. Let's do that now. All right, everybody, in 1967, Toho decided to put out Son of Godzilla, the introduction of this guy, Minya, into the Godzilla verse. I think this is a really love-hate movie of the whole Godzilla franchise for people. I'm on the love side of this film. It's great. A lot of kaiju action in it, good stuff. Some comedy in it. The storyline is, once again, we're on an island, and Godzilla is at the pretty much very beginning. There's a plane, and there's some kind of disturbance, and Godzilla rises up out of the ocean, and they notice he's heading toward an island, a very isolated island on the map, Sawgill Island, and that's where Godzilla's heading toward. And then you get the classic music at the beginning of the film, probably really awesome music. I love the music of this movie. The human characters in the movie, it's pretty good. They're on the island to do weather experiments, mankind trying to figure out how to control the weather. Pretty futuristic, of course, and all that, but very, very, very fantasy, sci-fi. So, but they do become successful with some of their experiments, trying to lower the temperature on the island because it's a tropical island, very hot, and They do have some success with their experiments initially, and then one of their capsules goes off in the atmosphere, and it causes the temperatures to start dropping. And then one of their other capsules, it goes off too late, and it causes, with the addition of storms, it causes a really bad heat wave on the island and pretty much scorches everything. And the scientific team there and all that, they barely survive. They have to stay indoors for a period of time. And finally, the temperatures settle. In the meantime, they have found out that there's a giant mantis on the island, and they start calling it Gimantis. The other name for this is Kamunga. Kamacuras. I like Gimantis. I like that name. I think it's better than Kamacuras. But they're dealing with that, and then after all the testing and the nuclear fallout, or the nuclear radiation from the heat and all that, the Kamacuras becomes much, much bigger, much larger, and there's 3 of them on the island. And then they discover something, a mound of dirt and rock, and they bust it open, and they find an egg. In the meantime, Godzilla arrives on the island, and they start pounding the egg, and they bust it open, and out comes Minya, of course. And then Godzilla commences to defeating 2 of the Kamacuras, or Gimantis, rather easily, and saving his son. And then there's some good stuff with him and Minya through the movie. Him teaching him how to do atomic breath correctly and stuff like that. And there's some comedy, a lot of comedy involved with Minya. And I know Minya's a love-hate for the fandom, but I enjoy it rather much. This movie's very, very good. But at the end, Kamunga's awakened by the humans, of course, and this giant spider here, and there's a big battle between Godzilla and Kamunga. Godzilla and his son actually defeat Kamunga at the end. They both do their atomic breath and symphony and set him ablaze. But the kaiju action is great in it. I love the story of the movie. They eventually refreeze the island, and Godzilla and his son are basically froze there and go into hibernation. And that's how the movie ends, with showing them being frozen. But it's a pretty good movie. I love this movie myself. I'm on the love side of this love-hate deal. It's a very, very entertaining film. As far as my collectibles, this is my 30 centimeter 67 holding his eye, like in the film when Kumonga speared him in the eye. This is the 30 centimeter X Plus Kumonga. Always keep these together because of Kumonga's prominent role in the movie. And I'll show some of my other collectibles right now. All right, everybody, I'm back, and here is two more 30 centimeter Godzilla 67s I have, both made by Mark Sing Yang, and a little baby, newborn baby Minya. He's not scary looking, but he made that for me just to go with it. It was a quick little deal, but it's pretty cool. These are both 30 centimeter. They're pretty much very closely in sculpt, but I'm such a big fan of this movie that I decided to buy both of them from Mark Sing Yang. All right, I got a couple more, and let's do that now. All right, everybody, here's my X Plus 30 centimeter Godzilla 67 Rick. Comes with both versions of Minya, newborn Minya and grown Minya. And I just kept my Mark Sing Yang, one of my 30 centimeters up here, as a scaling wise just comparison. All right, one final collectible from this movie, and let's look at that now. All right, everybody, my final collectible from 67 is this, the Embrace, Mark Sing Yang called it. I contacted him a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, about this, doing one of these. Would this be possible? And he said, yeah. I got it around Christmas time, appropriately, about 3 years ago, and it's pretty awesome. It's a 30 centimeter Godzilla 67 embracing Minya in the snow, the end scene of the film. This is probably my favorite, most sentimental collectible, because that scene gets me every time, personally, when I see it at the end. It's pretty heartfelt and emotional. Godzilla grabbing onto his son and protecting him, trying to protect him from the cold as he cries out. It's pretty awesome. I'm glad I got this thing commissioned through Mark. It's pretty special. All right, let's move on to 1968. All right, everybody, in 1968, a lot of people thought it might be the finale of the Godzilla series. They decided to do a Destroy All Monsters, with all the monsters pretty much that they have encompassed in Godzilla's universe in one movie. You had Godzilla and Minya, you had Kumonga, you had King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra. Baran was in it. I don't know if Baragon was in it or not. Maybe Baragon was in it. Gorosaurus was in it. So many monsters were in this film. I don't have all of them. I have these two. I have Rodan. I have Kumonga. I have Larva, Mothra. That might be all the monsters I have from this film. Possibly. Anguirus. I have Anguirus, of course. The movie's okay for me. I mean, a lot of the monsters are just cameos in the film. Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra are more prominent in the movie than some of the other monsters. I mean, a lot of the monsters that are cameoed at the end of the movie, really, they're not really prominent in the film. But I know this movie is a favorite of people, but it's just okay for me. But this Godzilla is really my favorite. One of my favorite designs. The suit looks so good and crisp in the movie, in my opinion. It just looks so great. It's so awesome. But the movie, it's like I said, it's not my favorite of this series, but it's all right. I mean, all the monsters is the appealing thing to people, I'm sure. But the alien race is trying to take over the world in the movie, the Keelocks, I think they're called. And they're all women from what I've seen in the film. So, um, and there's a constant battle between humanity and them to take a fight for the Earth, and then they take control of Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, all the monsters, and they're making them attack the world. Then we figure out how to take the control away, and then they bring in Ghidorah as a last-ditch effort to at the end of the film, which is the climax fight. And I feel sorry for Ghidorah in that film. He really gets mugged. Basically, he don't even really stand much of a chance at all. He really gets taken down. That's the fight at the end with Ghidorah, and then Godzilla destroys the Keelok's base, and humans end up defeating them. Like I said, it's not my favorite movie of these 4 films, but it's got some great kaijus in it, and like I said, this suit looks so crisp and good in the film, in my opinion. Very, very good stuff. 1968. All right, I'll bring up my gigantic custom 68 real quick, and let's do that now. All right, everybody, and here's my Mark Sang-Yang custom Godzilla 68 gigantic series. As you can see, this is the 30 centimeter 68. It's a gigantic scale for sure. It's pretty cool. He did a pretty decent job on it. All right, everybody, we'll move on to 1969 now. All right, everybody, in 1969, they came out with Godzilla's Revenge, or All Monsters Attack. It's basically about a little boy being at home a lot by himself, and their neighbor guy watches him a lot. He's kind of shut in. His parents work all the time, and he's being bullied at school, and he has dreams of all the monsters on Monster Island. And when he dreams, and he goes to Monster Island, and Emilia is also dealing with bullying from a kaiju on the island. And it's kind of similarities between the two. They both are dealing with this and their ways to combat it. And Minya and Godzilla teach the little boy basically how to confront the bullies and be brave and strong and all that. And it's not a favorite movie of many people in the Godzilla universe. But in the end of the movie, Minya is strong enough and brave enough to finally combat Gabara, is the kaiju actually, that he defeats. And then the boy in real life stands up to the bully and conquests him. My thing on the movie, it's a story about being brave and bullying, and anti-bullying film, and from that 1969. It's pretty cool, and it also shows how Godzilla is a big thing to kids over there, I'm sure, still today. He's the biggest movie star in Japan, so it's a pretty cool story. There's a lot of stock footage in the movie, unfortunately, and stuff like that, but it has a message there in it, and it's kind of one of the shortest Godzilla movies, like 109 minutes or something like that. But it's got a story in it, and it's a decent little story about bullying ain't good and all that, and how to overcome it. And at the end of the movie, the kid overcomes not the bully only, but the crooks as well. There's 2 crooks that kind of kidnap him and stuff, and he overcomes not only the bullying, but those crooks as well. It's pretty cool. But it's pretty neat when he dreams. He goes to Monster Island and spends time with Minya and sees how Minya overcomes his threat, which is Gabara. Pretty cool. The movie's all right too. It's not my favorite. If I had to rank these movies, 67, 66, 68, 69. That's how I would rank them. 67 is by far my favorite of those 4 late 60s Showa era films. That one, if I ever just want to have a good time with a Godzilla movie, it's my go-to every single time. It's got good kaiju action. It's got decent story for the human characters in the film. And then the most emotional moment of any Godzilla movie, in my opinion, is at the end of that film with the embrace of Godzilla and Minya in the snowstorm. 67 cannot be beat. I'm a huge Son of Godzilla mark, and I know my friend Matt Jacobson, aka Gojira A51, will agree with me on that. I know he's a big 67 guy as well. But if I ranked them, like I said, 67, 66, 68, 69. All right, everybody, I'll close out my video. I want to thank everybody that tunes in. This is Phil. You all have a blessed day, and we'll talk again soon.